Good morning everyone, I'm Sophie and I'm from Northern Ballet. I work as part of the learning team there, and we've teamed up with Leeds Playhouse to bring you some of these daily warm-ups every morning at 9:45. So before we start, this is going to be a physical warm-up, so just have a bit of a check of the space around you. This warm-up is suitable to do seated or standing. It's your choice completely, or you can move between the two. So if you're standing, just make sure that you're aware of the space above you, any lampshades or anything, and any hazards on the floor. Also, please just take it at your own pace this morning. We're going to be working on the shoulders. So if you've got any injuries, just be careful and look after yourself this morning. Okay, so we're going to start. Oh, the other thing, before I forget, please put any comments on the feed as we're going along, just so that we know you're there this morning. Okay, so we're going to start by finding our collarbone, and just with your fingers, just walking along the collarbone all the way out to the edge of the shoulder. So we're just encouraging this shoulder to begin opening outwards to the sides. And we can be quite firm with the fingers here, especially this part where the shoulder kind of joins the body. And then we're just going to see if we can identify where our shoulder blade is. So if you place one hand behind your back, it tends to stick out a bit more, and just see if you can find the outside edge of your shoulder blade all the way down to the pointy bit. If you can't reach that far, just see if you can find the flat surface at the back. Okay, and then we're just going to move to the other side and do the same thing. So finding that collarbone and just marching your fingers along just underneath the collarbone all the way out to the outside edge of the shoulder. Just a few times, and then we can give it a bit of a brush as well to encourage it to open a bit more. And again, place that hand behind your back and just see if you can identify or find the outside edge of that shoulder blade. Mine are quite bony and stick out quite nicely. Okay, so the shoulders are our most mobile joint in our body, but it's often a place where we hold a lot of tension. So hopefully by the end of this, our shoulder blades the whole of our shoulders will feel a bit freer. So our shoulder blades can slide up and down along the ribs, and we can see how high we can take our shoulders, one at a time or both together, and then we can really feel them sliding down along the back. So just finding how you can slide your shoulder blades this morning. And then the shoulder blades can also open and close like wings. So we can see how close we can get them at the back. And then we can see how far we can open our shoulder blades. So they're kind of sliding around the sides. And then our shoulders can also roll and circle in each direction. And this might take us into some kind of twisting or curving movements. So we're just going to spend a bit of time now with some music, just really exploring how we can move our shoulders this morning. Finding ways they can slide, circle, maybe rotate. And this might take us into other movement, being led by our sliding shoulder blades. But it might begin to move the rest of our body somehow. taking us into curving or bending. We might just wish to focus on one shoulder blade, or we might want to work with them both at the same time, all the while trying to be as smooth and as fluid as possible. Allowing the shoulders to settle. Now I'm going to give you an image to work with of strings attached to each fingertip on each hand. And these strings can be as long as you want to imagine them. And they can be made of whatever you want to imagine. Spider's webbing. They could be quite thick, if that works for you this morning. And we can imagine that something or someone is pulling these strings or threads in different directions, and it's the strings that then lead us into the movement. And again, we can focus just on one hand, or we can switch at any time, thinking about the space below us, the space above us, maybe the space behind us, and allowing these strings to take the rest of our body into some kind of movement. If we're standing, we might go down to the floor, or we might begin to travel through the space somehow, all the while led by these strings. If we wish, we may even begin working with both hands together. That's a bit more complicated though. Make sure you're still breathing, just allowing the breath to flow. Gradually allowing these strings to dissolve. Okay, so when we've released a bit of tension in our shoulders, it can travel to other places. So we're just going to focus on the neck for a moment. And we can just use our thumbs to just brush along the neck gently. We can support the skull with the fingertips, and we can just nudge along the base of the skull. So if I turn to the back, you may or may not be able to see the base of my skull with my long hair at the moment, but we can go right from behind the ears, where we've got those bony pointy bits, all the way along to the center of the skull. We can be quite gentle with this area, just giving it a bit of a massage, and then we can think about the back of the neck lengthening. I know when I've been working at a screen, I often end up with my head like this, so just by brushing the back of the neck, we can really encourage it to sit back on our spine and lengthen. And we can even take a bit of the weight of the skull into each hand as we do this. Really encouraging the lengthening through the back of the skull and really thinking about softening down along the throat. So we're lengthening at the back and softening down the front. Okay, then just finally to integrate all these separate parts we've been working on, we're going to rub our hands together and we're going to think about this connection between the hands. So we can rub the hands really quite fast, get a bit of pressure, get a bit of heat between the hands, and then we can allow them to just float apart, feeling the energy between the hands. And let's just repeat that again. So pressing quite hard. And then as you release the hands, you can really feel this connection. And no matter if the hands are really far apart or if they're really close together, we can imagine or we can see and feel this connection between the hands, always moving in relationship. Whether they're in front of us or behind us. So just spending a while, just playing with this relationship between the hands. If we're standing, we might even want to lie on the floor, or it might take us into tipping off balance, finding balances of some kind. Just continuing to move for a moment with this invisible energy between the hands. And gradually our hands can become closer together. And we can allow that energy to disappear. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me this morning. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully your shoulders, your arms and the back of your neck are feeling a bit more mobile, a bit more relaxed. If you have any comments, please put them below on the Facebook, Twitter, or you can even email Leeds Playhouse at engagement.leedsplayhouse.org.uk. These warm-ups are on every morning, Monday to Thursday at 9:45, so please tune in again tomorrow, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.